Welcome everyone. So far in this module, we have talked about the main method, different types of print statements, as well as the comments. And the last thing that we have left to cover is the escape sequences. So now let's talk about the escape sequences in Java. So escape sequences in Java means the special characters that are used to represent a certain non-printable or special type of characters. Okay. So if you want to get some of those special type of characters to be printed on console, such as new line, horizontal tab, backslash, and single quote, backspace, return, those type of special characters, then you would have to use the escape sequences. And every single escape sequences, it starts with the backslash, one single backslash, and then you will specify the character. If you add the character in after this backslash, then it is going to get you a new line character. And if you add the T character after the single backslash, then it's going to get you horizontal tab on console, okay? Or also known as the paragraph space. And if you wish to get the backslash character itself, you cannot just give one single backslash. You would have to give double backslashes, because backslash itself is reserved by the escape sequences in Java. So to get the character backslash, you have to give a double backslashes. First one is representing the escape sequence, and then the next one is representing the character itself. Okay. And to get the double quote, we will add the double quote character after the backslash. And for the single quote, you have two options. You could use this escape sequence, or you could just use the single quote character itself. Either one will get you the single quote. And if you add the B character after backslash, it means that it is the backspace character. And if you add the R character after the backslash, means that it is the return character. So let's take a look at this example. Let's see how we can use those escape sequences to get this output on console. So in this task, we need to get this output on the console. As you can see, we need to get 3 lines on the console. First line, it should print us this shape, which is double quote, backslash, 2 underscores, forward slash, and the double quote. And then in the second line, we need to have this print statement that's printing, he said hello. And hello needs to be given within the double quote on the console, which means you need to print this double quote on the console as well. Okay. And then we need to print, would you like coffee or tea? And coffee and tea needs to be given within the single quote on the console. Okay. So let's work on this task. Please create a new class under this package module 9 and name it coffee tea. Okay. And please give the main method so that you can make this Java file to be runnable. So in the first line, I need to print the, so this is my regular print statement, right? In order to print any string of text, I need to give this double quote, yes. And first line, I need to print the double quote and then the backslash. Double quote, backslash, 2 underscore, forward slash, and double quote. So in Java, the double quote character, when I try to give double quote character, you see, it will automatically assumes that I'm trying to give a string of text. So double quote is reserved by the string of text. But what if I want to get the character itself, the double quote character itself? Then the only option that you have is by using the escape sequence. Okay, escape sequence starts with 1 backslash, and then you will specify the character that you want to get, which is double quote. So if I run this now, this escape sequence that I give, it is going to get me a double quote on the console. And after this double quote, I need to print a backslash. So the backslash, as for the backslash, if you just give one single backslash character, you see, it's not going to get you a backslash character on the console. As a matter of fact, right now it's giving you this error. The reason it's giving you error is because every single time when you give this one single backslash character, compiler automatically assumes that you are trying to give escape sequence, because backslashes are reserved by the escape sequences in Java. So after this backslash character, you must specify a character that you want to get. But I wanted to get the backslash character itself. So therefore, I could just specify this backslash character after this first backslash. So it's going to cause a backslash on the console, you see. And then next I need to get 2 underscores. As for the underscores, you don't need to use any special characters. Okay, you don't need to use any escape sequences. The escape sequences are only used for those following characters. As for any other characters, you don't need any escape sequences. So 2 underscore I have given. Next I need to give the forward slash. As for the forward slash, you could just give the forward slash character itself, one single forward slash character. Okay. And then after this forward slash character, I need to print the closing double quote. Closing double quote means it needs to be given as escape sequences. Okay. Only for the escape sequences, you see I'm using the backslash to give them. So for this is double quote, this is backslash, and this is double quote. As for the other characters, I did not use any escape sequences. So if I run this program now, you see we did get the coffee cup here. And then in the next print statement, we need to print he said hello on the console. So to print a string of text, I will use this double quote, right? Double quote is always used for string of text. He said hello. I printed this he said hello on the console now. And you see in the expected result, we need to include this hello within the double quote. So therefore, before this H, I need to have a double quote character. And after this O, before this dot, I also need to have a double quote character. So would that be okay if I give the double quote character without escape sequence now? You see, it's giving me this error now. Okay. If you need to give double quote character within the string itself, yes, you should always use the escape sequences. So if I run it now, we do have the double quote before this H. And I also need to include the double quote after this O, right? So which means I need to give one more double quote. So now we have he said hello on the console, including those double quotes. And in the third print statement, you need to print, would you like coffee or tea? And coffee and the tea needs to be given within the single quote. They need to be printed within the single quote on the console. So first let me give the string that I want to print. Would you like coffee or tea? And question mark. Okay. And coffee and tea, they need to be printed on with the single quote on console. So far, the single quote is missing. So when it comes to printing the single quote, you could use this escape sequence to get the single quote character. Okay. Or you could also use the single character itself without the escape sequences. For single quote character, you have those 2 options. So either one will get you the single quote character. So this is how you can use the escape sequences. And we also have one more practice task to work on where we can implement the escape sequences. So in this task, we need to print stairs on the console by using one print statement only. This should be your final output at the end. You need to print on 5 different lines with just by using one print statement. Okay. So if I'm using one print statement to display the message on 5 different lines, I'm going to need some escape sequence that can help me to get the new line, right? Because without the escape sequence, one print statement, it only prints it on 1 line. But I want to use one print statement to print it on 5 lines now. Okay. And each line, it should contain 5 structs. And then starting from second line, you need to increase the number of the indentation by 1. So for that, please create a new class, name it stairs. Okay. And I'm still going to need the main method in this class. Here's my main method. And I need to use one print statement to print 5 structs on 5 different lines. Okay. I need to print 25 structs in total, but 5 structs in each line. So this 5 struct, first of all, they need to be printed in the first line. And then I need to start a new line to print the next 5 structs. Okay. So to start a new line, you could use this escape sequence, which starts a new line. And after you start a new line, of course, every time when you start a new line, you need to increase the number of indentation by 1. So which means in the second line, I also need to have a paragraph space, the indentation. This is how you can give the indentation by using this escape sequence. And then I need to include 5 structs. So let's print it here to make sure that the indentation and new lines are included. Okay. And I still need to print 3 more lines, right? So second line has been printed. In order to print the 5 structs in the third line, I need to start a new line here. To start the new line, you will use this skip sequence. And in the new line, I need to give 2 indentations this time, right? So if you need to give 2 indentations, which means you need to give this skip sequence character twice. And then you will give 5 more structs. Okay, so 3 lines has been printed on the console so far. And now let's work on the fourth line. Fourth line means I need to start a new line here by using this skip sequence. And in the fourth line, I need to include 3 indentations. And then the 5 struct keys. Okay, this is our first line. And as for the last line, I will also start a new line by using this skip sequence. And I need to include 4 indentations. After 4 indentations, then we can print 5 structs. So this is how we can use the one print statement to print those stairs on 5 different lines on console. So here are the few key takeaways from this module. The main method that we have learned is the entry of Java program. And Java is very case-sensitive language, meaning that uppercase and lowercase characters are different, and because they also have different numbers on the ASCII table. Okay, and the proper indentation and the comments are important for the readability and maintainability of your codes. So make sure you always include some comments to each of the lines of code that you wrote. It's going to make it easier for you to understand it, especially since you are the beginner, right? Make sure that it becomes your habit to leave some comments to the codes that you wrote. And make sure you also know the difference between print and println method that we covered in this module. Both are used for printing the string of text or any value to the console. One appends a new line after printing, the other one does not append a new line. So println method, it appends a new line after printing the given value, but the print method, it does not append a new line after printing the given value. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all in the next video.